Here's how you can use ChatGPT to write an authentic, unique, and engaging email newsletter that your audience is actually going to be interested in. So this is the prompt that we're going to start off with. So we're basically going to assign ChatGPT the role of an expert email copywriter. I added in some skills that it should have. It should know the power of authenticity, personal touch, and storytelling. And its tone should be personal and conversational, like the reader should feel like you're speaking directly to them. So then I give it the task, let's create an introduction story for my monthly email newsletter. I'd like to start out with an engaging personal story from this month. We can tie in a lesson about real estate, homeownership, or just any sort of advice that my audience will find interesting. My audience is a mix of young professionals and families in St. Petersburg or Tampa, so change this to whatever your audience is. And then we asked ChatGPT to ask 5 questions one by one to help me discover a good story to share and write this introduction to my email newsletter. So this will really help you to get into you and what would actually make a good story and what only you have this information. So a lot of times we will ask ChatGPT to write an email newsletter, but all that it can spit out is super generic, content that nobody cares about and is irrelevant. So when you do it this way, when you turn it around and ask it to ask you questions one by one, kind of like in an interview format, then you can get it to pull out those stories and ideas out of you so that it can actually create content based on your experiences, which will actually create good content. So with that said, we started off, so we asked that, then ChatGPT said, to start, can you tell me about a memorable interaction or experience you had this month related to your work in real estate? And also, it doesn't have to be real estate related. You can change this up and make it any story that you have from this month, especially things that you think people will find interesting. And this is something you can post to your story and kind of tease at, you guys won't believe what I saw at this listing this month. You got to subscribe to my email newsletter. I'm spilling the beans. I'm telling the story in the email newsletter. So you can do it like that as well. But basically, it asked this question. I was feeling kind of lazy, so I just put this into ChatGPT and asked it to give me a sample answer. This is the answer that I got. It's very well written, but you really don't have to have a very well written answer. You can kind of just brain dump. You can bullet point. It doesn't have to be very well written because it's going to rewrite it for you. But you'll notice that my answers are all super buttoned up, but that is not how it needs to be. Also, if you'd rather do a voice memo, you can do a voice memo on your notes and then copy and paste the text that comes out so you don't even have to type it out. And okay, so then it asks a follow-up question. Can you share a bit about the emotions that you experienced? So you'll see how it's asking you questions based on the previous answer that you gave. It's kind of interviewing you, it's writing an article that will help to add elements of the story that you may not consider when you're writing it that would make it more engaging for the audience. What would you say is the key takeaway or learning point from this story that you think would resonate with your audience? So again, I just got this from ChatGPT, and you could even if you're starting to be it's asking me a lot of questions, you can be give me some sample answers that I could say to that. And then you can kind of choose the answers that it provides. The next question, to make your newsletter introduction even more engaging, could you share a specific moment or detail from your experience with a young couple that stood out to you? That's a really cool one because it's, adding some good details to the story to kind of allow the person to visualize it. Then it asked, to round off our introduction, how would you like to tie the story back to your role as a real estate agent? Then it gave some examples. So I just chose one of those examples. Let's talk about my approach to helping clients find their dream home. I think you have enough info to go from there. I was okay, we don't need another answer. You got it. You got enough. Then it said, perfect, let's, write this. So then it wrote the email newsletter. I felt like it was too buttoned up in AI, so I feel like this always makes it a little better. Let's make it a little more human and conversational. And then it wrote a pretty good one. We're going to run with this one. But you could always tweak it more. Say, if it's too cheesy, you can say that's too cheesy. I specifically didn't like when you said, hope you're enjoying the Florida sunshine. You can give it specifics as to what you liked or didn't like, and it'll rewrite it. All right. Then the next step is we want to provide some value in our email newsletter as well. So you can easily do that by just sharing some upcoming events that are coming up each month or each week, however often you're doing your email newsletter. So I have ChatGPT 4. I believe it's a paid version. I think it's like $20 a month. But I asked it to search the web for 6 exciting events happening in St. Petersburg, Florida in February 2024. And so it popped these out, and it provides the links as well to more information, so you can double check and make sure all the information is accurate. But now you have all of these descriptions and events that you can add into your email newsletter. Super easy. Then you can ask it to write a brief market update for your email newsletter. So you can just say, what's the housing market like as of right now? Please research and write a blurb answering the question, how's the market? And then it will give you an answer. And basically what happened here was sometimes it starts repeating itself, or it'll fail and it'll just like cut off where it was. If it does that, you can just hit the stop button and then refresh the page. Well, first copy what it said so far, and then refresh the page and ask it to finish where you left off, and then paste what it wrote, and it'll pick it back up and continue writing it. I confirmed, is this relevant to February 2024? And it was like, yeah, it's as close as I can get. But now you have a little market update blurb that you can paste into your email newsletter as well. Of course, you can check the links and make sure everything's accurate. Double check, on the MLS or wherever you check your market statistics, and make sure it's accurate before adding this in. But it definitely gives you a good starting point to work with. So then you could go over into FloDesk and click on new email. And I like to just use the plain text ones. I think that these just look a lot more like you're literally just writing an email to them rather than like a super fancy email newsletter. So I'm going to start with this one, and I'll just show you like some quick things of how I would edit this. So let's go back to that. I'm going to just copy this first part. I'm not going to do like the closing out part because we're going to have more stuff in the email newsletter. But I'm going to just paste this in there, and I'm going to remove that, and you just put a little @ symbol and then put first name. And if their first name isn't filled in FloDesk, then we'll put it in there. And then you can put a little comma, enter. So it'll say, hey, first name. It'll say the first name of the subscriber, or if that's not available, it'll say, hey there, hope you're enjoying the Florida sunshine. But that might not be applicable to everyone, so let's remove that. I just had to share a story with you this month. It's about a young couple, a charming house, blah, 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 blah. So one thing I'm going to do here is chop this up. Oh no, I undid, but I didn't like how it undid that. So what I'm going to do is manually delete that if I can. Okay, I'm going to ignore, where are the buttons on this thing? Okay, there they are. I'm going to delete that one. I'm just going to duplicate this so that it's the exact same format. And I'm going to put these into a few different blocks. And if you want to add, this is so that I can add images or GIFs into this story to make it a little bit more interesting. But here you can add like an image of that house or that family if they're okay with it. Like if it's your friends or something, they don't care. Or you can add a GIF. So you could go over to giphy.com and just search for a fun little GIF that is relevant here. That can really like infuse your personality and make it look really like fun and engaging. So I just had a story to share with you. Let's say like, it says big dream. So let's say big dream. Let's just see what comes up. Let's see. What is this? There's never gonna be a space that's enough space for all your dreams. That's not true. Okay, I don't know about this one. This is gonna take me too long. Let me just grab one. Okay, so I'm just gonna use this as an example. It's not, it's not groundbreaking, but I just right-clicked and saved it as a GIF. And then I'm going to go over to images, click on the image. Oh, okay, I could have just searched here to add a GIF from Giphy. I knew that I could do that. So let me type in story time and see if I can find that story that I just found, or that GIF that I just found. Let's see. I know it's got to be in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's, you know, like I said, it's not groundbreaking, whatever. But basically what you do is add an image block, and then once you go to upload the image, you'll see the option to search Giphy for your GIF. All right. So also one thing that I like to do is change the width so it's not like massive, and make it smaller while we wait for it to load. I'll go ahead and do that. But honestly, I feel like these just make it look so like exciting. I don't know. GIFs, I think, add a really like fun, engaging touch. Also, I'm gonna add a spacer here, just so they're not like piled up on top of each other. All right. See, you can also align it to the left if you want. I'm gonna keep it in the center actually, because it's a little too far left. So again, you can separate these as much as you want by just like copying and pasting the text and then duplicating it. So this will really help if you're like adding images into it. Maybe like bold, strong sentence. Now you have your little story, but also let's remove this. You could also change that to say like February newsletter. I mean, you can also come up with like a fun name for your newsletter. You could say like we have like the monthly edit. You could call it the monthly edit, and then maybe even add another layout thing here. Let's see. And this is where you could really have fun with it. But again, like you can just have a super simple email newsletter. The text-based ones do better because when the email platform sees that you're sending a ton of images, it could flag it as spam. It looks like a marketing promotional email. So keep that in mind. You don't want to get too crazy, but there are some beautiful, beautiful templates. Like this would be so cool with like the picture of the closing. I would love that. But I'm actually going to use this as our header. I'm going to call it here. What did I just say? I'm going to change this text here to say, what's happening in St. Pete in February? Or let's just say St. Pete happenings in February, and then we'll call it the monthly edit with I was gonna say like with so and so real estate, but I decided not to. Now let's say on the block, what if I just want to have a white background and no image? Where do I change the image here? Is this one of the things I need to pull out further? Okay, so to get to the image, you have to not click on this part. That's the text part. We're gonna have to click on the outside part. And let's see. Say you don't want to do an image. You could just drop in. I mean, it could be cool if you have like a good branding photo of you to do an image, but you can change the opacity here to make it darker, and you can change this color to white if you want it to be lighter, or you could change it to black and then change the text to white, which is a pretty good contrast actually. So let's do that. And let's see if we can increase this size. And then I'm going to take that photo, and I'm going to Oh, we can zoom in. Doesn't, oh, okay, we can move it too. So maybe like just a little detail shot. So you could play around with that. Add a different heading here if you'd like as well. You can adjust the padding? No, okay. All right, so now we have our little header there. You can put any image that you want back there. Hey there, I just had to share this story. Got a GIF, woo, so fun. Now we can add in another spacer or even a divider and then add another little block. And here you could use a layout or you could use text, but we're gonna add those events. So let's look at the layouts and see if there's any good options that we can use. And also keep in mind that you're building out like your initial template here, and you can always just save this template. You don't have to like do this every time. Just pop in the new information each month. So it'll take you like definitely less than an hour. Let's see. I think I'm just gonna do text actually, because you know that's just it gets better results if it's just a fully text email. And I'm gonna do something at the end here as well. Okay. Events in St. Pete. Actually, let's do what's happening in St. Pete this month. Oops. Now let's bold it, make it a little bigger. Oh, not that big. What's happening in St. Pete this month? You can change the text. If you want to do a fun text that's not a web safe font, you can create a layout block to add custom fonts. So if you wanted to have like a fun font here, click the plus, go to layouts and go to, where is it? There's just one plain one that's for text, because it's like image based, it's not text based like we had talked about. That's the ones with the ones that they have with the really beautiful text, because they're not web safe, so they have to be the layout. So yeah, if you click on this one, add some beautiful text with a custom font, then you can search through all of these options. But I'm just gonna do a regular font. I'm gonna duplicate this again. And how do I move it down? Oh, you just grab it, drag it. Ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, I drag it. Okay. And then we're gonna paste in those events. We're keeping it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Copy and paste. Can add in some bolding. And you can format this however you want. You could add some like, oh no, I just moved it again. Gotta be careful. Okay. I'm just bolding this. I'm using Command B to bold, by the way. If you're wondering how I'm just selecting it and then it's getting bold, I do Command B on the keyboard to bold. All right, so now we have events in there. Oops. Just drag. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm not going to drag and drop you. You're too small. I am going to add a divider, and then I'm going to add another spacer. Then I'm going to duplicate you, and I'm going to drag you down here, and I'm going to say, what's the market like in St. Pete right now? Now let's add, you know what you could do here too that's fun is, let's say you did a post recently that was a market update, or you did a YouTube video or something. Oh my goodness gracious. You can do like just, oh my goodness. Sorry, it wasn't letting me let it go. This whole video is just me moving this thing around. I think I'm about to give up. I'm calling it quits. Should I try one more time? I'm gonna make it shorter And then I'm going to try one more time because I'm so lazy. There we go. If I make it shorter, it works. Okay. So one thing you could do is like make just a tiny little blurb and then link it to your social media post or blog post or whatever. So let's say you like grab this, what it says, give me the too long didn't read for this. TLDR means too long didn't read, by the way. Or too long didn't read. So like what's the skinny? What's the short? With a wide range of property prices. Median listing prices vary greatly depending on the neighborhood obviously. Is it a buyer or seller's market? That's what the people want to know. Let's see. As of January 15th, 2024, the St. Petersburg housing market is leaning towards being a seller's market. This is indicated by factors such as homes fetching close to their list prices, blah, 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 blah. We'll make sure that it gives us a statistic or a link. Okay, so of course, make sure that all of the information is accurate. Like double check, I'm not saying to just blindly listen to ChatGPT. I meant press copy. Double check, all of that. But I'm just doing this as an example. And this could be something you do on a monthly basis. So when people want to know what's the market like, they literally am like, let me go check her email and scroll down to that like market section. Now, one thing I wanted to show you too, and then here you can add another spacer, another divider, another spacer, and then you can add a little blurb that's like, I need help. I'm going to say, write me a blurb for the end of my email about 2 sentences telling people that I would love to talk about real estate with them, even if they don't plan on moving for years. That's what I'm here for. Please respond to the email. Also would love feedback from them on my email newsletter and how I can add value as their real estate agent. Now, another thing too here is that you can add in like captions from Coffee and Contracts as well, just in these little text blurbs like we're doing. But one thing that I'll show you while it's typing is that you can add a little section here. Let's see, if I add a little text, I'm gonna add my spacer above it. We gotta have our spacers. It's all about the white space. My block, I'm gonna make it black, and then I'm gonna make my font white. And then I'm gonna make my block have padding around it so that it's a little more, I'm gonna make them all even. Let's make it 30 all around. 30, 30, 30, 30. And we're gonna say, in this email. Now let's add a little emoji. Oh my goodness. My emojis aren't working how I want them to. Actually, they will. Okay. House. I'm clicking this little thing on my laptop that lets me do emojis. We're gonna do house. We're gonna do calendar. We're gonna do money bag. we're gonna do, you do like a little snippet of what's to come. Is it a buyer's or seller's market? Monthly market update. And you can keep this at the beginning of each of your emails. Lobster Fest. Like, just give a little, like, oh, then they'll go, be like, oh, what else is happening? And then house. What's like a good, I'm just gonna put like a reminder to stay patient. Your backyard. I don't know. Okay. A reminder to stay patient. How my buyers landed their dream home. Like just something, you know, giving a little sneak peek. Yeah, it gives like a little sneak peek into what they're going to get in this email newsletter. Okay, I love it. I want to be a real estate agent so I can send this. All right, now let's see what the blurb came out to be. I don't know why it said absolutely. There we go. Whoa, too much spaces. Okay. I'd love to chat with you about all things real estate, whether you're planning a move soon or years down the line. I'm here to provide insights, guidance, or just a friendly conversation about the market. And hey, I'm all ears to your feedback on this newsletter too. Let me know what you think, blah, blah, blah. Now we're gonna add a layout. We're gonna add one of those, the beautiful text thing. For some reason, it's so hard to find. There it is. Add some beautiful text with a custom font. Put your name, and then do one of the little handwriting ones and make it bigger. Haley. All right, and our email newsletter is ready to go. Also, we can add those emojis that we did in just a second ago. We can add those here so they know like where they're gonna find those sections. What's happening? That was the calendar. This one, I'm not gonna do a house for that. All right, I love this email newsletter. I don't know about you guys. I think if my agent sent this, I would be like, wow, this was really valuable. I love it. It's not just like random home maintenance tips that nobody's gonna do. Let's be real, nobody's gonna do those. I wanna know what the market's like, and I want you to be clear about it. It's a seller's market. Okay, thank you. I will check the email to know that, and I will check the email for the events to get excited about this month. And I'd love to look at your little story too, because I get to know you a little better. I love it, personally. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully this was helpful. This was a long one.